Case of Piero Fortunato Zanfretta by Charles Lear. In the last couple of blogs, we looked at the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena 1978 UFO chronology, which was unusual for the large number of humanoid reports with spacesuits, helmets, and antennas in the descriptions. We also noted that there seemed to have been a flap in Italy in December, and that one case listed that month is worthy of individual attention. The principal witness, experiencer, was Piero Fortunato Zanfretta, and his story was investigated by Italian journalist Rino Di Stefano, who wrote a book about it that he published in 2014 titled The Zanfretta Case. According to Di Stefano on his website promoting the book, we have read the book and recommend it, he isn't a ufologist. He says that at the time of the incident, he was working at the Genoa Corriere Mercantile and looked into the case as a reporter. He then gives his account. On December 6, 1978, just after midnight, Zanfretta, a private security guard, was on patrol in his Fiat 126 on a dark and moonless night near Genoa in the village of Tariglia. It was very cold, and the roads were icy after a snowfall that day. As he came up to a client's empty country house in Marzano, his engine, lights, and radio stopped. He saw 4 lights moving around in the garden and got out to investigate, bringing along his gun and flashlight. He went through a gate and moved along a wall in an attempt to surprise whoever might be there. He then felt something touching him from behind. He turned around and was filled with terror as he found himself inches away from what he described as an enormous, green, ugly, and frightful creature with undulating skin no less than 10 feet tall. Zanfretta dropped his flashlight out of fright when the beam from it hit the creature's face, but he managed to pick it up as he turned and ran. As he was doing so, he noted that there was a large bright light behind him. Turning around, he saw that it was coming from a triangular craft that made a hissing sound and was bigger than the house it rose up behind. He said later that he felt an intense heat. Zanfretta went to his car and called the security center. According to Di Stefano, Carlo Toccolino, the radio operator, testified that Zanfretta kept repeating excitedly, "My God, are they ugly?" and when asked if they were human said, "No, they aren't men, they aren't men," just before communication was lost. Toccolino called the head of the security service, and an hour later, at 1:15 a.m., 2 guards found Zanfretta lying on the ground in front of the house. Eyes bulging, with gun and flashlight in hand, he jumped to his feet when he saw them, and didn't seem to recognize or understand them when they told him to lower his gun. The guards moved in to disarm him, and were surprised to find that his clothes were warm in spite of the cold night. The Carabinieri, Italian military police, investigated and found 9 feet diameter horseshoe-shaped imprints in back of the house. The commandant of the Tariglia station, Antonio Nucci, found that 52 residents there had witnessed a bright glare from the area of the house at the time of Zanfretta's reported encounter. The story made the local papers, and Di Stefano says that while most journalists didn't want to look into it too closely, he decided to, because he didn't believe that a responsible family man with a good reputation would put his job at risk with such a ridiculous story. He was also moved by the 52 witnesses discovered by Nucci. According to Di Stefano, the head of Zanfretta's company believed he was an honest man, but was worried about bad publicity. Zanfretta is said to have seemed shy and uneasy, and to have said, "People call me on the phone at all hours just to play jokes on me. I don't know what it was that I saw, but I saw it. I am not a liar." Zanfretta agreed to be hypnotized, and what came out reads like an extremely bizarre combination of a contactee and abduction experience. He said he was taken by monsters about 10 feet tall, with hairy green skin, yellow triangular eyes, and red veins across the forehead, that took him to a bright, hot place where they examined him. They told him they were from the 3rd galaxy, wanted to talk to the people of Earth, and would return soon in greater numbers. They didn't speak Italian, and used a luminous device to translate. According to Di Stefano, Zanfretta went missing 3 nights later on December 26th at 11:45 p.m. after calling in to say that his car was no longer in his control and was driving itself coming out of the Bargagli tunnel. He said over the radio that he couldn't see well because of the fog, as the car continued moving up a steep road. After a mile, the car stopped abruptly, and Zanfretta hit his head on the steering wheel. Speaking to the radio operator in a very controlled voice, he said, "The car has stopped. I saw a bright light. Now I am getting out." Zanfretta was found by his co-workers in a field at 1:10 a.m. Even though it was raining, his clothes and head were warm and dry. He was scared, shaking, and crying, and said, "They say I must leave with them. What about my children? I don't want to. I don't want to." The carabinieri were called, and when they examined the car, they found that its roof felt like it had been out in the sun all day, and its interior was as hot as an oven. They also discovered huge footprints all around it that were 20 inches long and 8 inches wide, with a distinct empty spot between sole and heel. Zanfretta's gun was found to have been fired 5 times, but he didn't remember who or what he'd fired at. Nucci sent an official report to the Genoa Magistrates Court to find out what sort of action should be taken, and it ended up being filed away with this declaration: "No crime committed." Meanwhile, this latest episode created a lot of media interest, and Zanfretta ended up getting hypnotized on local television, which led to him appearing on national television. His story went beyond Italy and gained worldwide attention, but there were still more episodes to come. Next week, more strangeness and more evidence. For a detailed account of Zanfretta's first encounter, see page 5 of the Volume 25, Number 1, Flying Saucer Review. Charles Lear is the author of The Flying Saucer Investigators, available in its second edition at Amazon.com.